Welcome to another episode of Shut Up and Listen. Today I'm joined with legendary football coach as well as probably one of the most influential people in this community. The one, the only, some would consider him a goat, I don't know, Jon Eagle. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Matt. Good to see you, buddy.
So I know you pretty well. A lot of people in this community know you. You're a very predominant figure in this community. But why don't you tell the people that don't know you a little bit about yourself?
Oh, well, my name is Jon Eagle. I've been in education for just about 40 years. Boy, it went fast. And raised my family here in Camas. I've got 4 children. Three of them are college graduates, and one is in her senior year. My wife works at Providence Hospital, and I teach weight training. I'm an ex-English teacher, and I enjoy that. And I do some coaching, football and track, and I enjoy that very much. And that's about it.
So what were some of the big influences that kind of pushed you into a life of coaching and teaching?
That's a great question. I had a lot of influential coaches when I went to high school, and as a matter of fact, I've kept in touch with some of them, and I just decided that that's what I wanted to do. I saw the positive impact that some of these coaches had on other students, and I decided I wanted to be able to do that. And I guess as a young coach, I was kind of enthralled by winning at all costs, and but as I've gotten older, and I guess the true joy of coaching for me is to see young people discover what at first they didn't think they could do, that after training and working that they can actually do something and be successful at it. And that's the true joy for me. I mean, the public and everybody talks about the wins and this and that, but over time it really comes about to see the development of the young athletes. That's the fun part for me.
So we're sitting here at Lacamas Stadium, which is the home field for Camas High School. It's a pretty historic area. A lot of people love this area. I've had great memories on this field, a few bad memories on this field, but all in all, it's an incredible place. I'd say a lot of people that go to Camas High School would cherish this place. How did you end up here in Camas, Washington?
Well, that's a great question. I can remember when my oldest daughter is 30 years old now. When she was 1, we lived in East Vancouver. I taught at Evergreen High School, and we would just get in the car and drive because my wife was working maybe an evening shift or something like that, and we would just drive, and we just found ourselves on Prune Hill, and I just sat there. There were some homes under construction, and I sat there, and I'd never seen the view. I go, this is amazing. So we just decided if we ever get the opportunity, we'd like to move out here. And Camas was just kind of a small town. So anyway, we found a piece of property. We built a home on Prune Hill, and then we raised our kids there. We lived there for 10 years, and Camas has grown. And then we just decided we wanted to raise our kids here, and they all went through the school system here. So we've really loved it, and that's how we ended up here. We moved here about 1990. You can move here 30 years ago and still be considered, new people. You're not really old. There's the new Camas people and there's old Camas people. And 30 years, we're still new Camas people.
So like you were saying, it was a smaller growing town when you moved here. And it's really, if you guys don't know much about Camas, it's really kind of exploded. A lot of wealthy people moving in. And I would say, large part due to the school system here. You've kind of helped put it on the map through sports. Was that something that you were thinking of when you first started working here, or was that you just started getting a good program going and you're like, hey man, we could do something of this?
Well, to be honest with you, back in 1990, Camas was not recognized for their sports, and I know that the schools, you're not thinking about when your kids are really young. You're not thinking about the schools, and I think we've grown to appreciate the education our kids have gotten, and so that became a very important part of it. But I think that there were some people in place. I know the soccer team and the wrestling team way back had some success, and that's kind of where it really started. And then the football thing, Bob Holman came in and did some things, and I think the truth is a large suburban high school typically tends to have success. All across America has success in football. It's a numbers game, and we've just kind of built off what Bob Holman started, and there's a lot of great families with a lot of great kids, and if we've done anything right as a coaching staff, we've accumulated some really good coaches that are very good people, and we've had a lot of continuity. So some of us have been coaching together over 20 years. So that's an important piece that sometimes gets overlooked.
So you want to just talk about, you've been, I know you're a young man at heart and quite a spry guy, but you've been in the game for a few years. You talked about it, Do you want to kind of touch on how your roles and responsibilities have, as a teacher and coach, have evolved from when you first started coaching till now?
I think that's a great question. I think I'll be honest with you. I was kind of a little bit obsessed with, when you're a young person, you're in your 20s, you're trying to establish yourself in the profession that you've chosen. You want to do a good job, and you're going to want to get recognized as doing a good job. So if you're coaching, you attach, well, I have to win. And sometimes you maybe do some things and treat people, I've made some mistakes and didn't treat people the way maybe I thought should have been done looking back, and I regret that. But I think, you learn from it, and you say, well, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to make that mistake again. And you just evolve, and you make good decisions. And if you're doing a good job, people want to be part of your program. So we have a large number of volunteers, but I think it's just you're just trying to refine your craft and do a good job and treat people right. And the numbers in your program is a reflection of, if it's not good, people won't want to be part of it. And we've had sometimes nearly 200 kids in our program, which is large numbers. We've always said the strength and weakness of camas is the numbers. It's a strength, and managing those large numbers can be a weakness, but so you've got to figure out how to do that and make it work.
I know I heard about camas. I lived in a smaller town, about 35 minutes from here, and I heard about camas. I was like, man, I want to go there to play sports. That sounds like a great place, and I did, and I drove a long ways every day to be here, but kind of like just putting your name out, like getting that program going and getting such a recognizable school in a smaller town, really draws people in. They want to be part of that, and that's something that I experienced, and I would recommend to anyone that wants to be a part of a big school. This is a great one to be at. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, camas is unique in that it is one of the very few 4A high schools that is in a one high school town. In our state, most of our large schools are in multi-high school districts, Evergreen multi-schools, and Vancouver multi-schools. Even Battleground has two, so all around the state. So we're unique that way, and so every child that grows up in this school system is going to eventually end up on this field, hopefully. And so that's an advantage. It's us, kind of us against the world, and I can't emphasize. We have a lot of coaches spend a lot of time patting themselves on the back, and I'm the first to tell you that, because there's such good families that send their kids here, that the kids show up pretty well prepared when they walk in the door. So I've been in other places where you had just to get them on the field took a great amount of effort, and so we're thankful for that. But we want to acknowledge that there's reasons why people are successful, and that's because we have great kids and families that live here.
So let's move into some more sports-related topics. You've taught a lot of athletes through your years. What are some of the main character traits that you've noticed through athletes that have went on to the next level and done well?
That's a great question. I think that what I've noticed over the years, and I talk to our coaches about that, is I watch how kids conduct themselves in the weight room. Not always, but in a large part, if they can work independently and they'll work hard and they bring their best effort every day, I tell our coaches that he's a good bet to be successful, because I just watch the way he works. So I think that obviously, if you can combine talent and genetics and a good work ethic, that's going to be a good thing. And that's not necessarily always going to mean success. They have to be a little bit selfless, and all these qualities come together. But I think you need to be, as a coach, you need to be encouraging, and you need to be inviting and welcoming to all kids. And the true test of your program is, do you treat the poorest player in your program the same as you treat the best player in your program? Kids see through that. So we want to involve as many kids, get as many kids on the field as we can, but you can't put them on the field unless they're ready. Yeah. They have to be ready. Otherwise, they don't want to be there. They don't want to embarrass themselves, but they want to be ready. So we want to make our job is to get them ready and then get them on the field. Team morale. The more kids that are playing and contributing, a kid after the game can say, I had something to do with that. That's what we're after. We want them to all have a part of the success that we've had.
How has the competitive level of sports increased or decreased since you started coaching?
I think that's always been there. I think people are always, it's a very competitive sport. It attracts very competitive athletes and coaches. I think that the training has gotten better. I think you see more personal trainers. You see more kids that are willing to put in time with their honing their craft. Like a quarterback play is a good example of kids that'll be throwing the football all year round. I think you got to be careful where you're going. I mean, I've seen some really good trainers, and I've seen some that are not so good. So you got to be careful where you go. One thing that I see that I don't like is kids feel like they need to specialize because somebody somewhere said, well, if you're going to make it as a Major League Baseball player, you have to play baseball all year round, which to me is sad. I always ask the kid, who benefits from that advice? The basketball coach that says you need to be playing our sport year round. Well, obviously the coach benefits from that advice, and it's sad because the kid gets robbed of high school. Try everything. Very shortly you're not going to be able to do everything. So that's what we try to say.
Yeah, that's one thing I will say I will regret is throughout high school is not doing more through it. I was worried about, oh man, I'm ready to get out of here. And that was that mentality. And then I got out here. I was like, man, I kind of miss. I wish I would have done a few things differently. But
that's very true.
And that's just part of the game, And I know you talked with me about this a lot, like, hey, don't miss this practice, don't miss this. You're only gonna have to be able to do this for a few more years, and then you're gonna miss it. And I was like, I don't know if I will. And then here I am now, and I'm like, I wish I would have went a little bit better in that practice, or I wish I would have went to that one game, And how do you try and work through kids like that? They're hard-headed kids like myself out there. How do you try and get into that
I
mind?
just try to be encouraging. We really think that you would be great involved in our program, and I look at it like, this young person is going to be an adult not very long, and then they're going to look back about with those conversations that we had. So I always tried to, I've asked a guy to play, and he decides he doesn't want to play. So kids think like this, like if I don't play football, you hate me. And I said, I told my own son, listen, that's what I like to do. It doesn't mean you have to like what I like. I like football. I like coaching it. I like to be around it. I said, I still love you. You decide on Monday that you want to be a member of the band. I'm going to be a band parent because I want to support you, and I enjoy watching you do your thing. So that's how I've always tried to treat other students like I treat my own kids. I said, I'll tell you what I think, but I'm not going to judge. I said, hey, we'd love to have you out there, and God gave you a football player body, and I think you can do some great things. I've been wrong, but not very often. But, trying to be a good, we always tell her, being a good coach is trying to be a good guesser. And we try to get players in a position where they'll have success and make it fun. So I think we've been able to do that for the most part.
I'm sure you've gotten this question a lot in regards to the new season being pushed back, and how are you going about trying to prepare for this upcoming season with the restrictions put in place due to COVID-19? And
well, that's a great question. It's all new. That we can't go back and say, well, this is what we did the last time this happened. So we're just going to take it day by day, and I'm looking forward to the start of school and. Getting on with our 0-hour weight class. I'll be able to have Zoom meetings with our players, and I'm going to work hard between now and the start of the season on making those social connections and being on time. I do some of that now via texting. How you doing? How's things going? How's your summer going? And stuff like that. But nothing beats face-to-face communication. So we're going to start there. And we have a lot of our players that are working out, like in different players' garages, and I try to show up there every now and then and watch them just to let them know that I'm watching. We see what they're doing and just try to be encouraging. because it's all new. We don't know what's going to happen. So I feel, the athlete's got to have somebody in their life that is hopeful and positive that this is going to happen. I just truly believe that we're going to figure this thing out. It's taken a lot longer than I thought it should, but we'll get this thing figured out, hopefully either by vaccine or the virus fading a little bit, that we'll be able to get back out on the field. One thing that's going to be interesting is the start date, February 17th. I said we're used to starting when it's 90-degree weather. It's going to be a little bit cold out there. The other thing that I can remember, our baseball coach would say, we're practicing over spring break and we're going to have games over spring break. I go, oh, just relax. Let the kids have a spring break. Well, now the shoe's on the other foot. Now the football coaches, I'm going to tell our players, yeah, we will practice, and yes, we will have a game, and no, you will not go on spring break. So I got caught on my own stuff there.
So let's move into a little bit different of a topic. So in regards to purpose, I'm a firm believer in everyone has a purpose in life, and they're meant to fulfill that purpose. Whether you do or don't is your decision. But what is your definition of purpose?
Well, I'm a church-going guy, and I have a strong faith. So I believe God has a calling for you, and over time and through prayer, you're going to figure out what that calling, and you'll know. The Spirit will speak to you and say, this is what you need to be doing. So with constant prayer, I pray every day, who is it, Lord, that you want to put before me so that I can reach out to that person? I say, give me the radar so I know who to reach out to. And, I look at it like if somebody's misbehaving or doing the wrong thing, that's my cue is to step in. So I feel like I'm trying to do God's work and trying to make, plant some trees that I'll never enjoy the shade from and have an impact that way and just be a positive spot in someone's life. And then I think that, you asked me this question before, and I think that if you're lucky enough to be able to follow your passion, find something that you really are passionate about, and if it happens to be something that can be your profession, then you'll never work a day in your life because you're doing what you love to do. Oh, I get paid to do this? That's fantastic. So, and be committed to it. And be committed to following your passion, and really, that makes it easy.
So in today's day and age, there's a lot of confusion. People sometimes struggle to find their purpose and struggle to find what they want to do with their life. And there's a lot of people, like I've talked to a lot of people that I went to school with, like, hey, what are you doing after high school? I'm going to go to college. Oh, what for? I don't know yet. I'm just going to go. And I feel like there's a lot of those people, and the number is growing in today's age. Were you one of those people when you were younger, coming out of high school, not knowing what you were going to do, trying to figure it out, find the path that God was trying to put you on?
Yeah, I knew, really I can remember being in middle school knowing this is what I wanted to do, because my father was a teacher and a coach, so I was around people that did that. So I just decided that this is what I wanted to do. As a matter of fact, the teacher and coach where I went to high school, he's an English teacher and a coach. We still have, this was in the mid-'70s, we still have lunch today. We still get together today and visit and talk about things. So I think that I was fortunate because I knew from a young age what I wanted to do. And then I don't think there's anything wrong with midlife saying, this is what I want. I come across grown men all the time who maybe have been in a military career and they retire and they say, I want to get into teaching and coaching, or I want to do something different with my life. So I think, and this can change. You might feel like at 30, I'm not doing what I feel I need to be doing. So you can change. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that you need to listen and follow your passion and kind of try lots of things and figure out what that is, and then you'll know. You'll know.
It's got a pretty narrow mic. It won't pick it up. All right. So my last question for you is, at the end of a lifetime, what would you consider a successful person?
Oh boy, that's you could talk for a long time about that question. I think, I just wanted to be able to, when that day comes, I want to feel like that you know, the Lord has said, you know, thank you, good and faithful servant. That's a job well done. I appreciate that. And I want to be strong that way, and I want to be there for my family, and however I need to be, you know, whatever that means, you know. And so, and then I want to, you know, with my friends, you know, you know, a lot of my friends are getting older and retiring, so, you know, there's different things that those guys need. So I met with a friend of mine that's, you know, not, his health is not good, you know, and we met, but just to be encouraging and tell those people, you know, how they impacted my life. And so, so I guess everybody determines those things themselves. What, you know, each person's what they determine. Some people think it's making a lot of money, you know, and can't take it with you. You know, when's the last time you saw a trailer on the back of a hearse? You can't take it with you. So, you know, I think treat people right, and you look yourself in the mirror and be happy with what you see.
I'd like to thank you so much for taking the time to come out here and do this video with me. It shows a lot in your character, you know, selfless person, putting others before yourself. And I'm sure I speak for everyone that's had you as a teacher and as a coach, and that's thank you for your dedication and the time that you put in for the kids nowadays. Thank you very much.
All right, man. Right on. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much for your support. I'm always trying to better the production of my videos and make them look better. If you guys have any new ideas for me to do or make videos on, please let me know in the comments. If you missed my last video, it's right here. We talk about mental health and a bunch of other really good conversations and depression. Hard to talk about, but they're great to listen to. So if you have missed it, click up here. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would really appreciate the extra support. Click over here for that. Thank you guys so much. I hope you learned something from today's video. God bless.